Just 2 weeks left in the baseball season. Let's help you set your lineups next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Friday, September 17th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. And of course, they saved the craziest scheduling for last. Not exactly last, but the second to last week. One team has 9 games next week. That is Cleveland. 3 teams have 8 games. That includes the Atlanta Braves, the Chicago White Sox, and the St. Louis Cardinals. 15 teams have 7 games. 9 teams have 6 games. And then 2 lonely teams only have 5 games next week. That is the Boston Red Sox and the New York Mets. Who is must start on the Red Sox at this point, Scott? Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Kyle Schwarber, probably right on the border there in terms of whether you start him or not. It may depend whether you're in a 3 outfielder league or a 5 outfielder league. And then, depending how deep your league is, I think Bobby Dahlbeck, Enrique Hernandez could be usable in, a deeper roto league. But that's about it. For the most part, just Devers, Bogaerts, and Martinez. And even in some really shallow leagues, I could see you potentially sitting Bogaerts and Martinez. But it would have to be a very, very shallow league where you just have great alternatives. Both of them have been kind of in a cold stretch lately, which is why I say that.
Yeah, both have sub 800 OPSs in the second half there. How about for the Mets? Pete Alonso and Javier Baez. I would consider both of those guys must start. I know Lindor is having a better September, Scott, but what do you think? Use him for a 5-game week?
Yeah, I think that's right. And it's worth mentioning neither the Mets nor the Red Sox have the worst hitter matchups in my mind. They're both in the top 5 for worst hitter matchups, but the Rays actually have the worst hitter matchups, followed by the Padres. So just worth mentioning that since we're only talking about Mets and Red Sox.
All right, 2-star pitchers, Scott. There are a lot of them. Who are some of your favorites?
There are a lot. In fact, this may be the first. It was close to being the first week where all my 10 sleeper pitchers were 2-star pitchers. I ended up putting Logan Gilbert in there at the Angels as a 1-star pitcher. But 2-star pitchers, Ranger Suarez, of course, is at the top of the list, whether he's 1-star or 2-star. He's been there for a few weeks now. 2 starts this week against the Orioles and against the Pirates. Doesn't get much better than that. And then in the final week, Suarez is scheduled to face the Marlins. So just keeps getting better and better for him. Nestor Cortez is kind of in the same category as Suarez, meaning pick him up already. His matchups this week versus the Rangers, that's really good. At Boston, not as good, but yeah, well, the Red Sox do have a lot of slumping hitters of late, and matchups haven't mattered so much for Cortez anyway. Joe Ryan, potentially a 2-star pitcher if he comes back from that wrist injury for the start of the week. Either way, he's probably getting 1 start against the Cubs. The other would be against the Blue Jays, so not as good. But Ryan looks like a pretty good pitcher. Vladimir Gutierrez and Carlos Hernandez have both let us down of late after putting together some really strong stretches with a bunch of quality starts. But listen to their matchups for this week. Vladimir Gutierrez against the Pirates and against the Nationals. Carlos Hernandez at Cleveland, at Detroit. So both of them have 2 good matchups coming up. I don't know that they're must start in roto leagues or categories leagues, but in points leagues, probably want to stick with them with those matchups. Tony Gonsolin is an interesting play. Still working his way back from injury, still building up, but managed to go 5 innings last time. At Colorado, not so great. At Arizona, much better. So in a points league, again, Gonsolin could be interesting. Just a few more names here, strictly for points leagues. Jesus Luzardo, Drew Rasmussen, and Eric Fetty. In deeper leagues, you could look into them.
I do know that you have only one single-star streamer this upcoming week that you like. He made the list. Logan Gilbert at the Angels. He's 65% rostered, coming off one of his best starts of the season against the Boston Red Sox earlier in the week. All right, how about some sleeper hitters that we like, Scott, who are rostered in less than 80% of CBS leagues?
Frank Schwindel is like the hitting version of Ranger Suarez. He's only 61% rostered. So two-hit Frankie, right? That's what you call him? Frankie two hits.
Frankie two hits.
It seems like he gets 2 hits every day. You got to get him in your lineup. Brandon Belt for the Giants. He's been hot. They're at Colorado for a series this week. Have a bunch of righties on the schedule. His teammate Evan Longoria has been playing a lot and still hitting well. So get him in the lineup. Andrew Benintendi, who had a 5-hit game. on Wednesday. He's been hot, worth starting. With the Rockies at home for a full week, Brendan Rodgers, Elias Diaz, you're going to want to look into the two of them. I also like the Orioles matchups for Anthony Santander. Not as much for Austin Hayes because Hayes mostly beats up on lefties, and there aren't many of those on the schedule for the Orioles. And then Tyler O'Neill, Adam Duvall. Throw them in there as well.
For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again on Monday morning. Bye-bye.